Alright guys, so this is my guide on how to build your blitz teams. We have that Ghost Spider blitz coming up on January 6th, and some of you guys might be wondering what to do with your old blitz teams to hopefully renew them a bit and get as many victories as you can on the future blitzes and get those valuable character shards. And I think we all have seen those infographics of the 37 best possible blitz teams. And to me, those are quite useless. They don't take into account by any means the restrictions that you have in your roster. You might not have this character, you might not have that team. This character might not be built up yet. And if you just try to force those teams and you don't understand how they work, you will be losing a lot more than winning. So it's more, to me, it's more important to teach you guys how to build your teams in a way that you will get the maximum value out of your roster with the characters that you have available. And that's what I'm trying to do here. All right, let's get it on. Alright, so first things first about blitz. It's not about using the best possible teams, even though I have few teams over here that you can see that are the synergy teams and the 5-man teams that you have available. There's a reason for that, and I will come back to that later. But blitz is about spreading your roster as thinly as you can, and to make as many teams that you can possibly can that can win on 8.3. And yes, you should be fighting mostly on 8.3. And of course, if you're a, let's say, mid-level player into low-level player, this video is most likely not for you. So we are talking about high-end blitzing, trying to get to that 100, top 100 or even higher. So you want to be spreading out your roster as thinly as possible and use all of your characters in your roster if that's possible by any means. And as you can see over here, I have actually all 40 teams built up. 37 of those are teams that I use on Blitz every day. And 3 teams are just some teams that I use to blow some blitz charges on. So we don't need to worry about those at the moment. I have 37 teams, so I use every character that I have in the game at the moment, and we should all aim to that as well. We have a lot of characters that are super weak, we have a lot of teams that are super weak, and we should be playing around with our characters to make sure that those weak characters can be used in the blitz as well. And this I will be explaining in my sort of classification of the characters and the teams and the tunes that you have available. And I have a sort of like categories of characters that can be used in blitz. First of all, we have the carries. Well, carries are the super powerful new characters that you have built up that can single-handedly lift up a trash team and make it reliable on 8.3. Those characters we all know are like something like Doom, Ultron, Phoenix, Kestrel, Silver Surfer. So where do I use those characters, and what characters what teams am I lifting to that reliable 8.3 wins with my carry characters? Well, let's look at them. So I think first in my roster would be Doom. Doom is with my Wakandans, and we all know how trash they are. So Doom is here just to help this team get reliable wins, and they do. They are super reliable, no problem at all. Alright, so what else? Let's scroll down a bit. And the next one we can see that it's a single carry character is Kestrel. Kestrel is with some of my Shield characters. Shield is a trash team by themselves, but Kestrel makes this team work really well. So it's a super reliable team with Kestrel. What else? Let's see. We have Silver Surfer. I'm using my Silver Surfer with the Kree minions. There's no like super exact reason for that. It's just that these guys are trash and Silver Surfer is good. Together they are reliable, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. They're just like trash characters plus a carry character, and that's a reliable team. Alright. Here's my Phoenix. Phoenix is with the old Sinister Six characters. I have another Sinister Six with Dark Arc, and yeah, they were not doing so well in blitzes, but with Phoenix in this team, they are super reliable. So no problem, they win every time. At least if I'm not screwing it up and choosing like super hard matchups. I have some other carry characters as well, for example Deathpool in here, and she's carrying the hand, and she does that quite well. And the Deathpool in the hand team is actually, I was thinking about this. I bought some thought into this because Deathpool has synergy with Mystics, and every character in this team is a Mystic as well, and they just happen to be trash Mystics. So trash Mystics with a carry Mystic, and now they're a reliable team. Alright. Next we have Ultron, and I have put my Ultron in my Big Kree, and Big Kree used to be semi-reliable in 8.3, but they have fallen out of favor lately, and that's why I actually used Ultron in this team to make sure that they win again. And they do. They have no problem at winning if I don't screw up the matchup. So choose a bad matchup. I also have Shang-Chi, who's actually super powerful in blitzes, and he can carry a trash tune. You just have to make sure that the trash tunes that you use these guys with are lower level, so they can actually do their thing and make sure that the enemy loses. So when Shang-Chi starts, he will just do that ultimate and mostly wipe the whole team, and after that the Ravager's gonna pick up the trash, and that's it. So yeah, it's not all about having those super powerful characters in trash teams, but also you have to think about the level of the team. Lower level trash team and a higher level carry, and they will work super fine. And if it's like my Doom team, as you can see over here, my Doom team is close to the same level. They are definitely still not in the level of Doom, but they are getting close. Like for example, my Shuri is 150,000 and Black Panther is 100,000, but they're still lower than Doom. But if you're noticing that you're getting too close to that level of the carry, you might want to change the carry or change the team a bit to make sure that they win. Because if this team would be in a way that Doom is 173,000 and the rest of them would be 200,000, it might not be a reliable team after that. But in a way that carry is the highest one and the rest of them are lower, it's always a super reliable win. Alright. Then we have power couples and unfinished teams that can carry characters. For example, the Secret Avengers. In here we have Secret Avengers with Fury and Shield Trooper. And well, Secret Avengers could carry almost anyone, but since I don't have any more super trashy characters, I've chosen these ones because they have at least some synergy together. We also have, I'm going to be scrolling down here, a power couple of Gamora and Nebula. And you might be wondering, what the hell, why are you breaking up your Infinity Watch team? It's exactly for the reason that I said earlier, that it's not about having the perfect teams, but spreading your roster thinly so that you can have as many winning teams as you possibly can. And for this reason, you should definitely break up the Infinity Watch. Nebula and Gamora are super powerful together. They can almost carry any team with the two of them. I'm putting them with Guardians, which are totally trash, but they have at least some synergy together, so they are here and they are working super fine and they're super reliable. And I have the rest of the Infinity Watch as a separate team, so the new characters and just 2 trash characters with them, and they are super reliable. We have other power couples in the game as well. For example, we can see over here, when we scroll down a bit, over here we can see Eternals, and we have Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger together are a power couple. They don't need Deathpool. Deathpool is a carry by herself, so you can use Deathpool as a carry in a trash team like the Hand, and you're going to use Cloak and Dagger as another carry power couple with some trash like I have here with the Hand minions and Jessica Jones. Eternals, you probably know that these guys they would just blitz together if they could, but since you have to have a full team, you just put whatever trash you have in there. But one thing about the Eternals is that you should always pair them up with low-level characters, because that Icarus, when you are pairing up with an enemy team, it will check your levels and they will mirror it in the enemy team. And if you have a low-level character, like this one, and you go to check what sort of teams that you find, and you can see that the enemy team also has a low-level character. And if they have a low-level characters, well, Icarus does Icarus things, so he just double taps them and kills everyone in seconds. So yeah, low-level characters with these guys. All right. Let's see. Then we have teams that are powerful enough to carry, let's say, 1 or maximum of 2 other characters with them. And teams like that would mean something like the, let's say, Weapon X. I have 4 Weapon X characters in here, and I have the Minerva as a 5th, and they work super fine. They have no problems at winning, because the 4 characters from Weapon X is so powerful that, yeah, they can carry 1 character with them, and it could be a low-level character as well. I've separated my X-Men and my X-Men and my Uncanny X-Men into actually 3 separate teams, and they consist of the X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, and Phoenix. And I have put them in this way. The 4 X-Men characters without Beast, and 1 whatever trash character. You don't have to look even at that magic. It can be a hand minion, it doesn't matter. These 4 characters will carry the team. And you should be seeing my Uncanny X-Men over here. So my Uncanny X-Men has Beast with them. So without Phoenix, my Phoenix is carrying the Sinister Six. But this team is super powerful by themselves, and they're super reliable. Beast is actually super good in here, and make sure that the team stays alive and they can actually win matches. And yes, my Magic is a low B character, and that's why I haven't brought her up in this Uncanny team just yet. Because this team, they cannot carry low-level characters. Their synergy is just enough to make sure that they win. But if I would put a low-level character in this team, they might lose. So I'm not willing to take that risk just yet. But once I've built up my Magic, she will definitely take the place of Psylocke, and Psylocke will be moving into the X-Men team. Psylocke and X-Men don't have any synergy, but they don't need any synergy. Like I said, the X-Men are super good on their own. Marauders, well, you can definitely play around with these guys a bit, but I would say that the full team is the one that you would want to work on, because they're just powerful enough to make a reliable team. But you will definitely need to make sure that the team is balanced in the right way to make sure that they don't lose. And by that I mean that you most likely want your Sabretooth, your Mr. Sinister, and your Emma high, and you don't want to build up your Strife or your Mystique too highly, for blitz reasons. In war it's a totally different scenario, because in war you want to do something else. Alright, so I have a hybrid of Web Warriors and Young Avengers over here. Nothing crazy over here. They just have some synergy together and they work. So that's it. That's the reason for that. Here's one team that can carry someone, and that's the Heroes for Hire. 4 of them can definitely work together, and they can carry any trash character with them. And I've used my Shang-Chi with the Ravagers to make sure that the Ravagers win. So he's sort of lent out to another team, and you can put whatever trash character in here. So they work well together. We have the X Factor, or the Dad Bros. You can have this as like 2 different teams, as the full team of 4 characters with 1 trash character. They will work fine. You can also just use the Dad Bros with almost anything, and they will work fine. But at that point you would need to use the Multiple Man and whatever her name is in some other team, and they are not that good by themselves. So to me it seems reasonable that they are the four-man team together with 1 trash character. Here I have the Guardians with Gamora and Nebula. Here's my Uncanny X-Men. The Inhumans is definitely a team that you don't want to break up, and that's just because the 3 main characters that you have in here are Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, and Crystal. But even though you could replace Quake and Karnak with someone else, Quake and Karnak don't really bring anything to any other teams. Maybe you could use Quake in some shield teams, but nah, not really. So it's best just to keep these guys together. Alright, after that we have like teams like maybe the Sinister Six. I can definitely the 2 chargeable Sinister Six characters with Doc Ock, 1 other Sinister Six, and 1 trash character, and they work really fine. I could also use just like 3 of the chargeable characters, Doc Ock, and I could put that Rhino in the other Sinister Six team, but the Rhino wouldn't lift up that team to be a reliable one, so it's better to use Rhino in this team and have a carry in that team to make sure that they will work. Let's see, other teams than that. Well, we have sort of a Asgardian hybrid. So I'm using Captain Marvel in this team instead of Thor, because this team is all about burst. So the Loki special, Captain Marvel Ultimate and Hela Ultimate, they will be just usually deleting teams like super fast, and that's why they're reliable. But you could definitely have Thor there and replace some others. So this is like a modular team. You can switch characters around a bit if you want to. But then we have those synergy teams, and by synergy teams I mean teams that you shouldn't be breaking up for one reason or another. And by that I mean the team might be so reliant on their synergy and the characters in the team that if you break them up, they won't be working. Or maybe the team is such a synergy team that the tunes from that team won't offer much to any other teams. And good examples from these are, let's say, something like Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, if you think about it, these characters don't really offer anything to any other teams. The only exception is, of course, Invisible Woman, but Invisible Woman is the glue of this team, and if you take her away, the rest of the team will be just falling apart. So you can take her away, and the other characters don't do anything in any other teams, so it's just natural that you should be keeping these guys together. Sort of the same thing goes for aim. You don't want to break these guys because their synergy together is so strong and they don't offer almost anything to any other team that there's no reason to break these up. You should just keep them together. Of course, there's some more obvious examples like Black Order. Well, we all know that if you take one character away from this team, then Thanos won't be having that ultimate mode, and that team will not work nearly as good as with the full 5-man team. Then we have something like Symbiotes, which is not as strict, but still sort of makes sense to keep them together, because there's not too many characters that can offer anything to any other characters. You could maybe argue using Venom in Brotherhood 2.0 sort of a hybrid, but not really. Brotherhood 2.0 works better together without Venom than with Venom. The only character that would definitely almost lift up any other team is Symbiote Spider-Man, but much in the same way as Invisible Woman is the glue of Fantastic Four, well, Spider-Man Symbiote is the glue of the symbiotes. So you cannot take him away from the team, and the rest of the characters don't offer enough to actually move into any other team, so it's just sensible to use them together. Yeah, there's a few other options as well, like Shadowlands. Definitely a team that you shouldn't be breaking up because they don't do much on their own. They don't offer too much to any other team, and they definitely suffer a lot if you take any of these characters away from the team. So it's just sensible to use them together. Yeah, that's about it. Something like Skeletor, definitely use a 5-man team. X-Force, definitely use as a 5-man team. Mercenaries, I would say definitely use as a 5-man team because the other characters that could be sort of modular in this team can be used in other teams, so I would say that this is the best possible blitz mercenary team. Pimtech is a perfect example. I wouldn't use these guys in any other team. They don't offer much. The only character that would actually offer something to other teams is Ghost, and Ghost is much like a Symbiote Spider-Man or Invisible Woman in their teams, sort of the glue of the team, making sure that this team works, and that's Ghost. And let's see if there's any other teams. Well, I would say that the Hydra is definitely, the Zemo Hydra is definitely a modular team, which you can switch around few characters here and there. It doesn't matter how you work them. They're like super flexible. And yeah, Brotherhood 2.0, definitely use them as a kid, and do not break these guys up. They work just fine as like that. Avengers, I would say you have a lot of options to build up your Avengers team. Just make sure that team that you have works enough to win your fights. And for example, in this team, I have put my Thor in this team just to make sure that the Avengers win. Because if you have a high-level Thor, high-level Hulk, the team will most likely just win. And that's why I made the switch up with the Asgardians, with Captain Marvel, and Thor in the Avengers. Power Armor, definitely a team that you don't want to be breaking up, because these guys don't offer much in any other teams. They will fall apart if you take any away from this team. But if you really want to make sure that this team is super reliable, you can switch up one character with a carry. But I don't think they need a carry by themselves. If you just watch for the matchups that you have, this team will work without any problems. Alright, maybe the same thing for supernaturals. Supernaturals, if you think about it, they don't really offer anything to any other teams. And they really suffer if you take anyone away from this team. So you want to have them together. That's just, yeah, that's how it works. And of course the Hydra. Well, of course, they're the Hydra. The synergy is that they are a full team of Red Skull and minions. And you can have like different combination of minions, but it doesn't matter too much. But you don't want to break this team up. You want to have the minions and Red Skull. So that's about it. So now that you most likely have some sort of an idea on how to build your teams, which characters you should be using to lift up the dead teams that you have been struggling with, which power couples can carry trash characters, which teams can carry one substitute character in their team, and which teams should be used as the 5-man team that they're meant to be used with. Now you have some sort of an idea how this team building works. But it's not all about that. It's also about the power level. You need to be worrying about the power level as well. And the good thing is that the power level usually sort of naturally falls into place. And by that I mean that the most important characters in each team should be the most powerful characters in that team. So for example, the Symbiotes, definitely Symbiote, Spider-Man and Anti-Venom, they are the important characters in this team. If those are built up, the rest can be lower, and the teams usually work better if the important characters are high and the not so important characters are lower. So they work even better. So it's like balancing the team to 150,000 each is not the optimal way for that team. The optimal way would be, let's say, for the Symbiotes, that Symbiote, Spider-Man and Anti-Venom are 200,000 and the rest are 150,000. So the important characters should be bigger than the less important characters. Of course, usually if you think about the more important characters, they are the new characters, legendary characters, like for example the Weapon X. Of course, Omega Red is super important character. If you have Omega Red high, the team will most likely be really good. In Black Order, if you have your Thanos, your Maw, and maybe your Call Obsidian high, it doesn't matter if your Corvus Glaive or Proxima Midnight are lower. In your X-Men team, if you have your Jubilee and Bishop high, it doesn't mean too much. It's almost better if your Iceman and your Kitty are a bit lower. In your Marauders, if you're using the combination that I have, if you have your Mr. Sinister, your Emma, and your Sabretooth as high as possible, and Mystique and Strife a bit lower, it will work better. And this is for Blitz, remember that. This doesn't work on, let's say, for War. In War, you should be focused on different things. This is about Blitz. So, of course, the Secret Avengers, well, we're talking about the partial teams, the partial carries, the Secret Avengers. If they're high and you have the trash characters with them and they're lower, it will work better than if you have the trash characters at the same level. Same goes for this team. So if you have the 3 Infinity Watch characters higher than the 2 trash characters that they are carrying, the team will work better. Same goes for the heroes for hire. If your trash character is lower, the team will work better. And your Doom team. Doom is higher, the rest can be lower. In your Shadowlands, you should have your White Tiger and your Night Nurse higher. The rest don't matter. If you're working on 3rd character, Big Moon Knight, Daredevil and Elektra won't matter at all. With the X Factor or the Dad Pros, if your Dad Pros are high, the rest don't matter. It almost works better if the rest are lower than them. It's always better to have the most important characters way higher than anyone else. This team with the Gamora and Nebula sisters, Yeah, if they are high and the rest are low, they will work just fine. On this team, the Uncanny X-Men, well, we have like Psylocke and we have Beast. If those guys are high enough, the team will work just fine, the rest don't matter too much. The Inhumans, if your Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, and Crystal are high enough, that Quake and that whoever his name was, they don't matter. They should be lower than the best characters in the team. Well, what about the Skeletor? Well, Punisher. Punisher for sure. Then maybe, I would say, maybe Yelena Belova, and then maybe Red Guardian. What about the Sinister Six with Doc Ock? Well, Doc Ock. Rest don't matter too much. If Doc Ock is big enough, the team will work. But maybe that after that, most likely Electra, I don't know, Electro, I think it is, yeah. With the X-Force, definitely you should have your Negasonic Teenage Warhead and your X-23 high. The three other characters don't matter. They can be lower. They should be lower, because if they are higher, the team will work better. In Mercenaries, definitely your Taskmaster. No one else matters. If your Taskmaster is high, the team will work. In this Kestrel trash team, the usual. Kestrel high, the rest low, and it will work. Pimtech, Ghost high, the rest low, and the team will work. Asgardians, hybrids, and the full-on Asgardian team, if you have your Hela up, that's great. If you use Thor, Thor is probably the second important character. After that, it doesn't matter who the rest should be lower. Cloak and Dagger trash team, of course, Cloak and Dagger, trash should be lower. Eternals, same deal. With Fantastic Four, if you have the possibility or the means or the will to build up your Human Torch, he should be higher than I have him at the moment. But after that, if you have your Invisible Woman at a good level, those two characters, if they are high, the team will work. Luckily, the team works quite well even now, even though my Human Torch is quite low. With AIM, definitely Graviton, Scientist Supreme. If those guys are up, the rest don't matter. Trash team with Carry. Again, Carry is high, the trash are low, and it works super fine. Zemo, Hydra, no question. If Zemo is high, the rest don't matter. Again, we have a Carry with trash, and the Carry is high and the trash are low. With Brotherhood 2.0, I would say your Magneto and your Blob are the most important characters, and the rest don't matter too much. With the Avengers, I would say Hulk as one of the characters that you really want to have in this team for sure. Hulk needs to be high. If you use Thor and Hulk should be high. If you don't use Thor, then I would say Hulk and Captain America should be high. And that's just because this is like a weird team in a way that usually you want to have your damage dealers high, but in this team the taunting mechanic and the taunting chain just makes it sort of weird synergy that if those guys are high, they will be taunting, healing, and they won't ever die, and the rest of the characters will be doing their work. And I would say if you can afford to have one character that deals damage a bit higher as well, then the team would work really well. Deathpool with trash, again, Carry is the high one, the trash are the low ones. Then we have Power Armor, where I would say War Machine, Falcon. If you have those quite high, the rest don't matter too much. Again, trash team with Ultron, so Ultron is quite high, the rest don't matter too much. Supernaturals, I would say the damage dealers like Ghost Rider and Elsa Bloodstone, if you have those guys up, they will do all the damage that you need and they will work fine. The rest will be doing just debuffs, and the debuffs works as well, even if they're a bit lower in health or in damage or whatever. Again, sort of a trash team. Well, it's not a trash team per se, but it's definitely a lower team that has a carry, and the carry is higher, and that works fine. And with the Hydra, Red Skull Hydra, I would say Red Skull high, and the rest can be lower, and it will work fine. Alrighty, okay. This is a 35-minute video where I explained all of my teams and the synergy and the carries and the power couples and synergy teams and whatever. And I really hope that you got something out of this. I will make another video talking about choosing your opponents and how to work your blitz teams in events, in character blitzes and other situations. But yeah, this was a long video, and I really I'm really grateful if you lasted this long, and if you did, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And yeah, if you like this, if you got any ideas from it, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, you know the deal. If you have any questions, any criticism, anything, please let me know in the comments. I'm always super happy to answer your questions, and I'm excited to see if you guys spot any mistakes on my teams. If you do, please let me know. These are not like perfect. I haven't spent too much time wondering about these teams. They just work, and there might be some stupid mistakes in there, but if you spot anything, please let me know. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, yeah, see you in the next video. Alrighty, bye.